Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Barber, Camo, the fantasy football counselor. I'm doing probably the most important episode of your entire fantasy football lives. Fantasy footballs, do fucking not do this. That's it. Don't effing do this in your fantasy football drafts, when you're looking at rankings, when you're picking your team. Do not fucking do these things. I got to go over this. It's very, very important that you do not do these things, okay? This is probably the most important episode you could listen to ever. Like, seriously, going into this fantasy football season or any fantasy football season for that matter. So fantasy football, effing do not do these things, okay? In your drafts, while you're prepping, whatever, when you're doing your research, just do not effing do these things, okay? Got a list of things. I'm just going on a rant. There isn't a specific 5 tips or 10 tips. I'm just going to say don't fucking do these things, okay? So warning, I will be cursing in this episode because I got to vent out a lot of frustrations because a lot of people do these things and then they get screwed up and they don't win their championships and they just follow the herd, and you don't want to do that, okay? So big episode. Before I get into this, guys, very important. Listen, there's going to be a giveaway from Pristine Auction. Listen to this, a signed Jonathan Taylor jersey. To enter, there's a link here below on YouTube. Click on the link right in the bottom of the show notes here. There's a link. Click on it. Enter promo code SWAGLION when you sign up, and you're entered, and comment on this video, Jonathan Taylor or JT, you're entered. And I'm going to pick a winner on Monday. Do you hear what I'm saying, guys? It's a chance to win a signed Jonathan Taylor jersey, free to enter. Pristine, or just go to Pristine Auction. When you sign up, use promo code SWAGLION. Very simple, guys. You're entered. Secondly, manscape.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. Save yourself. Listen to this, guys. 20% on amazing products. The fit and finish is amazing. Skin-safe technology, navigational light, long battery life. You can groom in the shower with it, in the dark even, right? They've got amazing, boxer briefs and underwear and ball wipes and everything you guys need to treat yourself. Manscape.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. And finally, we're talking about do nots. Actually do this, okay, guys? Do right now get a 16-round draft solution. Linked it below. It's going to help you guys crush your leagues. First ever and only video training. People say, what is it? Well, guys, it's me in a video telling you all the optimal players to draft each round. It's like having me at the draft with you, and then I do full mock drafts as if I were going to draft a team right there for you with sleepers and breakouts, everything in one spot, 16 rounds. Just Google it, grab it right now, get it below here on YouTube as well, or thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. All right, let's go. Again, one of the most important episodes of your lives. Do nots. Effing do not. Fucking do not do these things when you're drafting, researching, prepping, whatever for your fantasy football drafts, okay? First thing, I know I sound like a broken record. I know, and I'm going to give you some more practical stuff as well, but this is practical too. But do not listen to the mainstream rankings. Rankings will not help you win your leagues. Let me give you an example. Last year, Austin Eckler was a top 10 running back. He busted. Michael Thomas was the number 1 wide receiver off the board. He busted. Lamar Jackson was a second-round ADP, first quarterback off the board. He busted. Saquon Barkley, CMC, 1 and 2 running back off the board. They busted. Yes, injuries count. Okay? Kenyon Drake, they told you Kenyon Drake. He busted. Adam Thielen, second round. I told you go Justin Jefferson, round 8. Pick him up on ADP. That's why 16 rounds is effective, because you're not going on rankings. Justin Jefferson, 8th round, right? He did well. Chris Godwin last year, right? Everybody had him in the top 10. They had him and Mike Evans in the top 10. I said, don't trust that, because Brady spreads the ball, and Godwin was coming off a pinnacle 2019 year. Do not draft him in the second round. What did people do? They drafted Chris Godwin in the second round, along with guys like Lamar Jackson, Kenyon Drake, and all these other guys. They busted. So all of these are predicated on rankings based on the year before. So do not fucking follow rankings. And the problem is that when you are doing your draft, everything comes up based on these consensus rankings that the mainstream sheep pull together. And that's just not how you're going to win your drafts, okay? So do not listen to rankings, okay? Also, guys, do not buy the ADP hype. Let's talk about that. What do you mean, Joe? ADP hype. Justin Jefferson right now, second round pick. Give me Thielen in the 5th round. Why would I pay? I got Jefferson in the 8th round last year. Do not buy the ADP hype. Another guy, DJ Moore, last year was a 3rd round pick, right? I said get Anderson in the 8th round, right? What happened? You guys tell me what happened. Anderson outperformed DJ Moore. Why? Because people were buying that ADP rank. They think that, DJ Moore based on ADP is higher than Anderson, so it means that he's better than Anderson. Guys, no. Jefferson's a 2nd round pick. It means he's better than Adam Thielen. Not necessarily, man. I'd rather have Adam Thielen at value in the 5th round. And this goes on and on and on and on, right? I'll give you another example last year. Lamar Jackson, 2nd round ADP. Josh Allen, 6th round ADP. Guess who was drafting Josh Allen? I was. Guess a couple years ago when Baker Mayfield was ranked ahead of Josh Allen, guess who was drafting Josh Allen? I was, because I saw you got to skate to where the puck is going. Do not fucking buy the ADP hype. Just because a player is higher on ADP does not mean he's going to outperform the guy that's lower on the ADP. Does that make sense? Javonte Williams, he could absolutely crush Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb this year. He can get the starting job, week 1, breakout run, becomes a 3-down back. They want to phase Melvin Gordon out. Javonte Williams could smash all the top first-round guys, okay? So do not always buy the ADP hype. Know when to fold them, know when to hold them, and get that value, guys, in the right round, and sometimes maybe a round earlier so that you don't miss out on that huge breakout potential. And again, I explained this in the 16-round draft solution, okay? Also, another fantasy football do fucking not do this is do not draft based on last year. I know all of these kind of tie in together, but they all have their own valid points. So many people draft based on last year, okay? Last year, Devontae Adams had 18 touchdowns, Cinderella season, bibbity-boo, bobbity-boo, bibbity-bobbity-boo, and there was this spell, and this carriage came out, and the horse, and the silver slippers, and Aaron Rodgers had a pinnacle MVP year, bibbity-bobbity-boo. And there was like this amazing year by Devontae Adams. Don't fucking draft him. It was a perfect year. I mean, why? First of all, we're got another effing do not in a second, but I wouldn't invest in a wide receiver early in the 1st round anyway, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is don't just draft based on last year. We saw it last year. Godwin, 2nd round pick. Avoid him. Michael Thomas, avoid him. Lamar Jackson, avoid him, right? They're coming off these huge astronomical years, and the mainstream are just telling you to draft them based on last year. Biggest mistake. Don't fucking do it. Look for other values. Look for other guys that could break out and emerge, and look for the value. Don't overpay for guys that had pinnacle years last year. Don't draft based on last year, okay? All right, another one. Let's go. Do not fucking draft wide receivers in the 1st round. I cannot tell you enough how scarce the running back position is. And I've done a ton of mock drafts. Go back and check a couple. Running backs come off in those first couple rounds, okay? I cannot explain this enough to you. I'm getting a headache. Running backs are coming off the board fast. And the best running backs that are available in the 2nd round are like Antonio Gibson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery's. 1st round, all those top running backs are gone. Now, there is other guys that could break out. I talked about in the 60-round draft solution, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Trey Sermons of the world. All these guys could potentially break out, but you're not guaranteed that workload, like a Derrick Henry workload, like a Saquon Barkley, like a CMC, like a Dalvin Cook. You're not guaranteed that workload from some of these other guys, some of these young guys, right? You don't know, right? It's all uncertainty. So do not draft wide receivers early, because you need to secure and anchor yourself with as many running backs as you can, because there's a ton of depth at wide receiver. Believe me, okay? Another thing, don't spend, here's a F and do not overspend on quarterbacks. I see this all the time. Again, that recency bias, right? People spend so much on a quarterback early, 2nd, 3rd round, when there's so much value later. Guys, with quarterbacks, it's one of those positions where it's more predictable on what they could do and how they could perform. You see their receivers, you see their receiver core, and there's a ton of depth at quarterback and a ton of breakout potential at quarterback, from Trey Lance to Trevor Lawrence to Justin Fields. There's a lot of guys that could break out to get as backup quarterbacks that could boom into the top 10. So do not overspend on quarterbacks. There's a ton of value. Last year, again, I gave you the example, Josh Allen, 6th round right here. I'm not paying 2nd round for Josh Allen this year. Why would I do that? I'll get myself a Herbert or a Wilson or someone like that and back him up with a Ryan Tannehill or someone like that, right? Or a Matt Ryan, okay? So do not effing spend too much on a quarterback, okay? So is this starting to make sense? Is it starting to click? I'll give you a couple more things here you got to be aware of. Just do not draft bummy players. Do not fucking draft Austin Eckler's. Do not draft Chase Edmonds. Do not draft players that have years to wow us or we're not wowed. Simple. Guys, listen. If, for example, okay, I go into the NFL and I'm a backup for 2 years, 3 years, what makes you think I'm going to be a top 1st round pick for fantasy football? Never mind being a starter. If I've had years, listen, Najee Harris is coming into the league. He's getting the start. He's getting the nod. Yeah, good. This guy's really good. He's a thoroughbred. He's an amazing elite talent player. He is the ultra elite. He is amazing talent, high caliber thoroughbred. Trevor Lawrence is coming into the league, thoroughbred. Yeah, thumbs up for Trevor Lawrence. He's a good breed. He's bred really well. His DNA is really good. That Trevor Lawrence, thumbs up. He gets a start. None of this like, okay, well, Trevor Lawrence is coming in and he might be a backup for 5 years and sit behind. Yeah, I mean, those guys are anomalies. Those guys could break out. They could do this. But guys, Chase Edmonds, years to wow us, we're not wowed. You know, Austin Eckler, years to wow us, we're not wowed. Kenyon Drake, everybody thought last year, Kenyon Drake. You know, Arizona, he's a starter, first round pick, top 10 running back, Kenyon Drake, yay! He was a backup in Miami for like 10 years. Come on, wake up. Guys, you got to understand, guys, these guys aren't good. If they're not getting the nod, Najee Harris nod, Trevor Lawrence nod, to start right off the bat and get the workload and be the guy, then they're probably not that good. There's something that the coaches are seeing that, you know, these guys aren't that good. And yet they're slated to be a starter on a team. Mike Davis is a starter since when? He was a backup to CMC. He's nobody. He wouldn't have got any playing time last year if CMC was on the field. If you're really good, you are the starter. You are the Saquon Barkleys. You are the Dalvin Cooks. You are the guys that get that workload, okay? So I implore you guys, do not draft bums. Do not draft those guys that have had years to wow us. We're not about. Draft them, maybe. I'm not drafting them at all, but don't pay a first or second or third round pick. These guys just aren't good. We saw it last year, guys, okay? Last thing, guys, do not be a fucking sheep. Do not follow the herd. Do not follow the rankings. All encompassing. Don't be a sheep. Don't just do something because it's a popular opinion. Lion mentality, guys, okay? Do not be a sheep this year or any year for any excuse at all, okay? Just do not be a sheep. Simple, guys, okay? Don't fucking be a sheep. Simple. And then there's common sense stuff. Don't end up coming to the draft drunk. You know, don't print off a cheat sheet of consensus rankings last minute and think you're going to win. Don't listen to fluffy podcasts. There's a ton of things you shouldn't be doing. 4-letter networks. These guys don't care about your teams. These white-collar analysts. So, again, guys, think outside the box. Don't do any of the things I said here, right? Okay? And, you know, just go into that draft confident and be strong. I'm going to do a whole other episodes on fantasy dues coming out tomorrow, okay, guys? So subscribe, thumbs up, and go pristine auction. Use promo code SWAGLION, okay, guys? And you guys are entered to win a Jonathan Taylor jersey, okay? And comment here below. SWAGLION is the code at pristine auction, okay? And get the 60-round draft solution. Smash thumbs up. It helps the channel. And don't fucking do these things for God's sakes, okay, guys? Important show here today. Listen to it. Take the advice. We'll talk soon.